And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to 20 Sides to Every Story. This morning, we're going to be getting started with our Dolmenwood campaign. Thank you, Dawson, for the cheer. Appreciate that. Good way to get us started here. We're 20 Sides to Every Story. We are a gaming group. We stream a lot of our games here on Twitch and upload the videos to YouTube after the fact. We would invite you to come and join us in Discord. We have a Discord server where we're hanging out in between our games and streams. It's a good place to gather up and talk to other people about our games and maybe even find a game for yourself to play in. So definitely jump in there if you're enjoying what you see here. I'd also encourage you to check out our Patreon page if you enjoy, especially if you enjoy the Dolmenwood content that we create here. We do have a podcast that is out there. Those episodes are a little bit delayed from our actual games. I can upload like basically one episode a month, but we produce more than that. So there's sort of a backlog. If you support the Patreon, you can get access to all that stuff way early. So check that out there. I'm Alex. I will be the GM for this morning. We've got a full crew here today. I'm joined by Dawson playing Topsy the Grimalkin, Issac playing the good Friar Fitzpatrick, Moreen playing Lillibeth the Hunter, Ryan playing Sir Geoffrey the Knight, and Chris playing Thomas the Minstrel. Where we last left off, it is the 13th of Read Rhyme. The group had discovered that they had discovered the location of a half-Breggle child who is at the heart of a political difference between two Breggle lords in the High Wold. The child is the son of Lord Malbleet, who has accused Lord Ramius of kidnapping him. The characters, have for some time had some inside knowledge that this is not the case because we know that it was actually the boy's grandfather who had been sheltering him in Langshorn up until his disappearance there. Just by happenstance, the characters kind of ran into the child, whose name is Billy, and he is a captive, it would seem, of two ogre magi, who seem to be maybe conducting some kind of ritual or experimentation here at the lair of this strange beast that the characters have discovered in a pit underneath a fallen redwood tree. The task seemed to be a bit more than what they could handle, and so the characters went to try to get some reinforcements from the Breggle town of Galbraith, and where they met up with Captain Cabrock Lockhorn, who brought a contingent of guards out into the woods to confront these two ogres. There was a big battle that took place. A couple of the Breggle that you brought with you had perished after Captain Lockhorn had fallen under a charm spell. But ultimately, that battle has resolved with both of these ogres have been killed. During the fight, Lillibeth had absconded with Billy and is probably I would say probably mile away running through the forest towards Galbraith, where we pick up. I believe you're going to have to help me a little bit with positioning and placement. I think Friar Fitzpatrick is maybe still up out of the pit, maybe tending to Captain Lockhorn and some of the other fallen. A lot of the Shorthorns actually fled in fear when they saw the Oni. They're not called Oni, sorry. They're Herodon is what the Dolmenwood word for them. So he's up there. I think the question I had was, Sir Geoffrey, where are you as we pick up?
What did we? I'm trying to remember. Did we say that me and the hunter were gonna go and inspect what was in the pit or something. Or
I know. Topsy is down there. Kezi is down there. Thomas, are you down there?
I believe I'm down there. I'm down there.
I did not go down.
Oh,
I am
okay. Maybe I'm flip-flopping the two of you.
I'm at the lip, more or less.
Okay.
Keeping an eye on them when they go down.
Okay. So it's Sir Geoffrey, Kezi, and Topsy that went down into the pit. So that's probably where we're going to start, because that's where like the most interesting thing is happening. So the three of you have gone down there. And basically, it's a fairly steep decline down into this pit underneath this fallen redwood tree. As you travel, I think some like 70, 80 feet down, you lay eyes on... I think I probably overstated how big the creature is last time. I see now in the updated... I wasn't looking at the most recent PDF, and they have a size descriptor on here. So I'm going to say the beast that you are looking at is... which has the body of a bull, the legs of a boar, and a head that combines both a tusked and horned beast, kind of nasty looking creature. It's probably, your guess is if it stood up, it probably stands some 18 feet tall. I think I described it as much larger than that. It's still plenty large, but fortunately for you, it is sleeping in this veritable den of coin, like tens of thousands of coins of different denominations, copper, silver, gold, has been accumulated here for who knows what length of time.
So wait, he's just like Uncle Scrooge sitting on top of a pile of gold?
Yeah, it's like all around him, like offerings that have been brought here over time. And
no cage between us, just down, just hanging.
No cage. It's like a big cavern. This big, huge, probably, I don't know, we'll say it's like a 30-foot tall cavern. This big cavity that you've walked down into underground. Earthen, you can see like roots of plants and things like that sticking out of the soil and the rock around you. And as this thing, was sleeping, you saw it kind of like birth out and breathe this like shadowy vapor that coalesced and created an image or a form that is quite disturbing. Let's just pop that up on the screen real quick. But it is a horned creature with 9 cloven legs and like eyes, just like red, bloody eyes all over its matted fur, and it's got mouths that seem to open up all over. It's like this almost like hard to comprehend creature. Like where is its true head? Where are its appendages coming from? Like what is it? Is it one thing, or is it a amalgamation of like many creatures all combined together? And you see Kezi, she's backpedaling a bit as she sees it, and she just points a finger up at this creature. It's floating in the air above you, and she's pointing at it, and she says, "Naglord," and then she just like puts her hand over her mouth to try to keep from hyperventilating or making too much noise, and she's backpedaling towards the exit.
I think we might want to follow suit.
Well, if you really... Well, wait, hold on a minute. This creature's whole thing is about birthing nightmares, right? But so far, the nightmares haven't done anything harmful. They just pass by people and go on their merry way. What if this is her nightmare? Is this Naglord?
I mean,
Perhaps what we should do is, I will agree, backpedal away for a little bit, see if it follows the same patterns that the other ones have been doing. Like, you've seen some weird night person, or whoever his name was, something about a sir. You're a sir, right? The other sir.
Yeah.
Saw this one. You saw him, whoever the hell that might be. He came out. He looked pretty real, but he wasn't.
I just think we should move back before we wake up this thing.
Well, this thing's probably not going to wake up. It's probably a super heavy sleeper. I mean, have you seen two Braggle in a room together? Sometimes they just bawl all day long. It's quite loud.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly observe, but yeah, Geoffrey's gonna back up. He's like wearing plate armor and stuff. He's like, I don't want to pick up. So he's pretty used to ignoring what Topsy says too. So he's just kind of like letting Topsy talk, and maybe as he's backing up, he's kind of pulling him by the scruff. Like, come on, buddy, let's go, let's move back.
Listen, I gotta be of some use in this team here. Everyone's got their own shtick. We got the missus with her fantastic bow. We got the singer over there. You got the swingy sword dude. We got the magic man. What do I do? What can I do? I can get down there, grab some loot, get out. This thing's probably not even real. Come on.
So Kezi is backing out. Geoffrey backing out.
I mean, probably not at the speed that Kezi is, but I'm moving slowly back. I'm not necessarily stopping Topsy from
Sure.
He wants to prove his worth. He's the kitty man. He can get in and get out. I'm kind of keeping an eye, but this has got me very uncomfortable, and I am very worried about waking up. Not just whatever the fuck this thing is that I see, but waking up the thing that I can tell is very corporal, that is 18 feet tall.
Yes. So, and then Topsy has one of the large sacks open and is moving forward to scoop up some coin. All right. So, Topsy, as you start to move forward, and your thought process is, as you've just vocalized, what is the chance that this thing would wake up? There's no way. What is the probability? It's probably 1 in 6, maybe. I'll be fine. I would like you to roll a d6 for me and let me know if you roll a 1.
Think about it. This thing has been asleep for thousands of years. There's no way it's going to happen just from a little kitty cat. I am the fluffiest kins that there ever was.
Okay.
You're moving close to it.
So you go up there and you start.
Wow.
And you're not stupid, right? You're probably being very gentle and careful as you're scooping this in. No reason to poke the beast. So you start to scoop up some. And I think we talked about this a bit last night, I think the capacity that you have left in your bags is something like 319 gold pieces you can collect and fit.
But he's got his prison
busting. Well, you still need
so much to start.
You still need a bag or a receptacle to collect it.
Give me your shield. I can put it all on the shield, and then there we go.
Roll another d6 for me, quick. You're not in danger on this one.
4.
Okay. As you look about, you're just thinking about how much coin is here. This is, you could build buildings. You could build a veritable town based on how much coin is here.
You use these coins to get more coins and pull the coins together and stack them all up to the moon or something, and enough to come back from the moon. It's how much coins there's here. There's so much.
And over all this beautiful piles and piles of gold and silver, you could see that the thing, that thing with the horn, that beast, that you suspect maybe isn't real, but it doesn't make it any less terrifying or imposing. It just kind of drifts and floats right overhead, almost as if it's gazing and judging you, staring down at you, calculating. The beast behind it, the very real beast, is snoring loudly, but nothing happens. It seems that you have collected all that you can and maybe are able to back out of here with your life.
Topsy, I have to admit, I did doubt you.
Wow, it seems like a very common occurrence with everyone here for some reason. It's so bizarre.
But I am a little concerned about trying again, that thing if we were to wake it, it would kill us. Now I understand because I saw the gold pieces shining in your eyes, and they certainly were shining in mine as well. The opportunity to build your own empire, it seems, lies down there.
How many bakeries I could open up?
But think about how many bakeries you can open up if you're dead. And how would we ever get all those riches out without having to kill that creature?
Well, a cart would be a great place to start, if you ask me.
You're just gonna wheel a. All right, let's go talk to the party about this.
All right.
Also, my big sack of gold that I went to get by myself. Thank you.
So, as you guys are backing out to go and join with Thomas and Friar, I have updated the Grimalkin's character sheet, so you got your EXP and your gold added to your sheet. You back out, you get up. What are Thomas and the good Friar up to while that is all playing out?
I was, in seeing them come up or whatever, if it's a little steep, I'll give them a hand to pull them up. And I would just say, what did you see down there?
I'm gonna let Topsy describe it because he's more eloquentious than me.
Well, it's a very big fancy word if you ask me. I don't think that's almost real. Well, I tell you what. There's more money in there than you could ever know what to spend within your entire measly mortal lives. All of you combined. It's crazy. Like, you can become a lord yourself with that much gold.
And as he's describing the piles and piles of gold, you see this large form floating up out of the cavity.
Oh, and there's also this, like, weird, disgusting little mouthy monster. It wasn't really little. It was more like 10 feet tall. Really gnarly looking horn, but he was holding a glass of wine, which means I think he's a pretty elegant fellow. But yeah, it was absolutely insane.
So it's rising up behind us.
Yeah, it's like following you.
Yeah, I would kind of push. I'd push Topsy aside and take 2 or 3 steps back and draw my weapons.
Yeah, Geoffrey's gonna step back too, probably again trying to drag Grimalkin. Like turn right. It's not even real. Stop.
What is the Friar's reaction?
At first, he is just staring daggers at his brother for even going down there. As soon as he hears that a monster is coming up, he will look to the captain, understanding what these things are. He would try his best to explain to the captain that these are figments of our imagination. This is what we've been talking about before, what we warned her about.
And as you're saying that, Thomas has drawn a weapon. All of the mouths on the beast are just like laughing. This like very discordant, guttural laughter that is maddening to hear. And she, the captain like puts her hands up to her ears and she says, "It doesn't make it any less horrible. What is that?" And Kezi is just still like kind of pointing up at it. "Naglord," and she draws her bow as well, quivering and shaking a bit, but she's kind of shoulder to shoulder with Thomas, taking aim at it.
Does it? Is it causing like this? The sound? Is it causing like a physical? I guess. Is it something that we're feeling physically or mentally or whatever? Is it actually like?
It feels real. It hurts. It like makes your stomach turn to hear this sound and to look upon this creature. Like it's just like oozing, like there's like pustules on its body that kind of like are bursting, and its oily hair just is filthy and disgusting.
Okay. I'm going to begin doing something. Let me call this up here real quick. I can find it. If it seems that this sound is having a physical effect. I am going to. I don't know if this works, but I'm going to begin trying to drown out the sound of this laughter with a bellowing song. I don't know if this will have any effect on this, but my it's called anti-charm with the minstrel. But
Okay.
It's, allies within 30 feet are immune to song-based magical effects and the beguiling powers of fairies. I have no idea if this will do anything, but I want to kind of mask the sound of its laughter to assist with any.
And as you start to do that, it's almost like your notes are being corrupted as they emit from your singing.
I'm singing.
Like
yes.
your voice gets changed out of tune and almost becomes like this horrible song that is coming out of your mouth.
Interesting.
Damn.
No, I've lost it. Try and clear my throat. I'm going to keep it up as best as I can while moving backwards away from the.
Yeah, and I think Joffrey's going to like try to be like, explain, the Grimalkin believes it is a, just as we've seen an illusion, but this thing seems to be so real and so aware.
From back where I am, can I grab a stone?
Yes.
It is an illusion. It has to be.
See? The friar gets it.
You are correct, Topsy. You should.
Oh God! You called me reckless, brother.
Well, I have to show you. It's an illusion.
I shoot one.
Your sling stone goes right through the body of the thing, passes through it, and it just becomes a vapor. It bursts and
Wow!
dematerializes. But simultaneously with that, you just hear this roar from the pit below.
He woke it up. Oh yeah, about the other thing down there, guys.
Oh, there is one more.
The other thing?
Oh yeah, there's something much worse down there.
Captain
Oh,
Lockhorn
man.
just immediately is like, "We must retreat."
Time to go.
But all the gold. There's so much.
There's a lot of gold, but there's a 18-foot. I'll describe like this what it was like a minotaur with like more legs or something and arms or something like that, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
And horn.
huge. Yeah, huge four-legged, almost like a wild boar monstrosity. Definitely not of your world.
It looks like it could kill us really easy.
So it could kill everybody very easily.
I'm just saying that if these ogre witches that we fought, if we thought that they were like a threat to us, then this would be like a supernova compared to that.
Hear me out. Didn't Captain Lockhorn say it was like some sort of fairy creature? Think about it. We had our problems with the ogres because our simple, plain, mortal weapons didn't do too well. You got the super sword. Thomas and I, we got the cool, pure, fantastic iron swords. We got the friar with his wonderful magic. Captain.
Time to go.
Captain's
That
like
makes
gone.
it go.
The captain's not having a discussion about planning.
Yeah, I don't want it to say on my gravestone that I was convinced by a kitty to fight a god.
Think about how much of a hero you would be if you slain this vile creature. Your name would go down in history and legend. Also, has anyone seen Lillibeth and the child? I have no idea where they went off to.
That's a really good point. Where is Lillibeth?
But hey, she said she had some pretty cool arrows. That could kill it. I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
So I think before we split to find out what Lillibeth is doing, what the decision point here is follow the Grimalkin.
I'm following the
No.
captain.
We're
Okay.
following the captain.
Topsy following the rest of the group reluctantly.
No, I bring back a bag of gold, and I'll like it is. Oh, good job, Topsy. Now we gotta leave. There's so much more.
All right. So,
I will say, as we're getting away, don't let it slip too much that we awoke this beast. Especially, it's probably going to go, on a rampage and
Take out Tokyo.
kill everybody in a 20-mile radius. So we don't have any idea what this thing is.
Never seen it
Right?
before.
Never seen it.
you'll get no protest from Captain Lockhorn, who she's probably not communicating this like as you're fleeing, but to sum it up, she is already feeling like a couple of her guard have fallen. It's sort of her responsibility why they are, even though she was under a charm effect, like she's taking responsibility for that and knows that she's going to have to report to people higher than her. She's already in enough hot water. She doesn't want to add more complexity to whatever discipline she's going to face. So she's not eager to share that so much, at least with the general public. But Lillibeth has been traveling through the woods with Billy, who is still asleep, I believe. I described him as still sleeping. Seems like it could be some kind of unnatural effect or something that the ogres had been feeding him, because there's been a lot of commotion. You've been running a bit. He's been jostled, so any normal person would be awake at this point. And there'll be no complication as you're traveling through the woods. You'll get back to the little town of Galbraith well before the rest of the party reaches you. Is there anything special or anything in particular that Lillibeth would do once they reach Galbraith?
Yes. So I would make sure that Billy was in a place where he could continue to be like comfortably disposed, so that he's not like in a lump someplace in the middle of a room. Make sure that and essentially try and wake him up. Try and figure out how I can wake him up. I'm not sure that's the great idea, but I have a feeling that if he wakes up, a lot of things could change very quickly. That ogres had a reason for keeping him asleep, and everybody keeps talking about the dichotomy of his nature. And right now, I don't really care which direction it's going to go in. I just want him to wake up and have a choice, one way or the other.
All right, so it sounds like you might take them back to the Manish Miser, where you had procured free lodging the previous night, and your room would still be there, and you can get a bed for Billy. The proprietor will bring up some food and water. You're by their bedside, maybe trying to like fan them, wake them gently with words, shake them a bit. But in the moments here before the party arrives, we'll say there's like an hour difference probably between the group coming in. Well, maybe hour and a half or so, and the group will arrive at the Manish Miser also. So why don't we just fast forward to that? Captain Lockhorn is gonna take her leave from the group to go and kind of give a quick report to her soldiers or the town guard, and kind of leave you all to it. So the rest of the group gathers together at the Manish Miser. You're all in this inn in the common room where you slept the previous night, and you're all gathered around where Billy is resting, back with Lillibeth. The boy has not roused. He is still sleeping soundly and deeply.
How can this boy still be sleeping?
Yeah, there's clearly something magical going on here, no?
Yes. There's something magical going on here. The whole thing has been something magical going on here. I'm sorry I had to take him away. And I'm sorry I left you behind. But that was our whole point, was to get him out of there. What happened to you?
Um.
I found a bag of gold.
Topsy, that's tremendous. Maybe that will help us to. I'm not going to ask any questions right now. I'm going to look at all of you and raise my eyebrows. But that's awesome. I don't know that we should stay here, though. I really don't. So I don't think we should leave him here either. So what do we do?
I have to admit, I thought that perhaps the captain would take the child with him, but I think the captain was a little shell-shocked from what occurred. And I think if maybe they had their wits about them more, they probably would have taken the child or done something. But here we are with this child. I think we need to decide what we want to do with him now and where we want to take him, or what the fate of this child will be.
Have you tried a good slap to wake him?
A good slap? Yes.
One
And
of them-
shaking. And water in the face. And everything I can think of to try and wake him up.
Mm.
But maybe it's better that he's not awake.
Did you
This
kick him in the
child-
billy goat?
I
Let the
wouldn't do
boy
that.
rest.
Maybe.
Let the boy rest.
Yeah,
He will wake.
that seems very
As
prophetic.
far as what we are to do with him, I think we go through with our original plan. No, we already have the guard, the captain. The captain has already sent word. There really isn't a question, is there?
Well, the only person who seems to have the boy's welfare in mind is his grandfather. I don't know what his grandfather's relationship is with Lord Ramius, but I'm assuming that Lord Ramius will try and intercept us somewhere along the way.
Yeah, his
Unless-
grandfather lock him in an attic and have him like freak out at every possible moment, knowing this kid's in his house.
Yeah.
Are you sure he's really the best option for this?
Well, I think we had pretty much decided that if we took the captain was going to report it to Lord Ramius, and the child would be turned over to them.
Mm-hmm. And our hope is that Lord Ramius, the captain said they were just. Our hope is that that is true. I'm sure we are going to try to at least speak with this lord at a certain point.
Absolutely. And Friar, well, I'm not necessarily the most observant of people, but if you wouldn't mind maybe having a small conversation with the one true God, or at least laying this someplace safe, it wouldn't be amiss if we could actually determine whether or not this is a good thing to do.
Sure, I could pray.
Funny
Give
thing
me
is,
one
it's
moment.
smoking that helps, not praying, right?
That's right.
It really is smoking that helps. Those
We'll have a little of that.
Do
Smoking
it,
it
then.
might be no. Yes, I've prayed on many things that we've been doing. The one true God, though he speaks to us, all of us, in his own way, sometimes he is a bit more quiet. I will pray tonight, either way, and hopefully after some rest and contemplation, we will know. Though, could always try to use, he helps those that help themselves in a way. Do we got any tobacco?
Hey, I believe I do, brother. I was the only one that partook the last time, right?
Or it was like three of you that.
If we all partook, then I'm out.
Yeah, I think you ran out the last time.
I think we're out.
Yeah, then I'm out. Yeah, then I'm out.
Either way, it sounds like there's been some good discussion here. Is there any immediate actions that anybody wants to take? Otherwise,
We don't have any way of like dispelling magic or anything like that, right?
I don't believe this group has anything like that.
I was looking at you, brother.
I'm looking real quick. Not yet. I really I'm only the one true God only gives me the power to see if there is magic there through prayer. But no.
Would that, do you
not
think that?
removing it.
Do you think that would be worth it, or are we resigned that this is a magical sleep?
Well,
Would it be worth
I could
ruminating on that?
I could try tomorrow morning. I am a bit
Tired.
yes.
Gotcha.
So maybe probably like early evening by the time you get back, maybe around 8 p.m. or so, Captain Lockhorn will make an appearance at the Miser and consult with you all again that she would like to take the boy to Lord Ramius at Castle Everdusk in the morning. She would be appreciative if you could accompany her. She has to leave the guard here, especially now that they're down a few. And she's hoping that you will corroborate her story of what took place there, as she is concerned about disciplinary actions that will come down upon her, and she believes that it will help her case if she has some eyewitnesses that were there with her.
I was under that sway as well. I wanted to kill my brother.
No likely story.
That's just a common occurrence for you.
No. Oh, I would never go fist to fist with my brother. He would always win.
Captain Lockhorn would hang her head and say that she is thankful that did not occur for you. She is living with the weight of the guilt of what transpired,
It's not the only guilt you have. I guess is what you assumed at the beginning when you took this job, Captain. I feel like what your actions were not you. You were only an instrument for evil, as I was. It was not you.
Be that as it may, I understand. I do think we also have to think, based on what you've told me, that we're not necessarily completely safe here either from influences. I would be most comfortable if we could keep a watch tonight, even at the inn, even if it's unobtrusive. And I don't know. I have no idea what the reach of that thing might be. And I don't know for sure that it was the ogres that overtook us completely alone. There's too much we don't know.
The captain will make plans with you that she'll meet you here in the morning. She will, as to concerns about your safety, she will make sure that the guard is very vigilant with an eye to the east, just in case the beast truly did awake and is prowling about. And that'll be that. And she will leave and leave you to your evening routines.
What should we do with Kizzy if we're gonna be traveling to the to meet with Ramius, should we pay her and have her go about her way? Should we negotiate with the captain to have them pay her wages during this time or something and take her with us? What do you guys think?
I would welcome her continued assistance.
I would agree with that. I just don't really welcome. We're not making money,
Right. We're just
So if we're not making money, this ain't making sense.
If we're dead, we're not making money either.
well.
Yeah, I'm just saying we're in a deficit now on Kezi.
The assumption would be that we would travel with the captain of the guard to High Hankle, right? To that
Actually,
way
to
the-
Castle Everdusk, which is like,
South, right?
yeah, maybe probably like less than 6 miles away.
okay.
That was
I
pretty
don't.
close.
Very
Yeah,
close.
I don't. She might be better served, to serve here in case anything happens. See if the guard can do that. Because if we're just going to go meet somebody, I mean, I don't know that it would be cost effective to basically keep her on, pay her wages for 2 or 3 days, just in relative safety. I would assume going to this castle. But have her services retained by have her, get hired on here for the few days, and we would come back here, and if we're gonna go back out and about and do stuff.
I mean,
would
if the
feel better.
castle's only 6 hours away, we'll probably be done today. I was under the assumption it was traveling there.
Yeah.
And that I thought we would have to like camp out. I thought we'd be paying like a couple days for her to just go to the castle, I guess.
Yeah.
But if it's only 6 hours away, I don't know if that's the case.
But it also brings up something else. Do all of us need to go and meet this Lord Ramius? I mean, I don't. We're getting on the radar of a whole lot of people. Not that radar exists. I'll phrase it however that would normally be, but I'm not all that interested personally in having so many influential people know
And you see,
me.
you're kind of I'm kind of the face of this party, but you are the voice. And I would be nervous going into a court, and I would say something wrong. I need you to back me up to say the right thing, as you often do. I often start the conversation, and Thomas, you end it. And I feel like we sort of need that dynamic, or else things I lead us to the wrong places. I'm an idiot. Okay, I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Self-knowledge is a good thing.
No. You are.
So are you guys
complete
having like a group
moron.
conversation at the inn where Kezi would be present? Like,
Yeah.
Because she would probably weigh in. She'd be like, "I'm not staying here in Gullbright. Like, if you're ending our contract, like, I'm gonna make my way back to High Hankle. There's no work. There's no work for me here. I know what these guards get paid." And
Are
she
you
would
just-
also say, "There's no way in hell that she's not going with you to Castle Everdusk, because she knows that she will accuse you of like trying to cut her out of whatever reward that Lord Ramius is going to give for the finding of the child." And she's like, no, I'm going with you."
Right, 'cause she gets a cut.
Yes, she gets a cut.
Wait, we're getting
It does.
rewarded for this?
Alright.
And if it's possible, Topsy, can we talk later tonight?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Go ahead, and let's assume there's a private moment at some point during the evening.
Hey, it's later tonight. What's up? Want to talk?
Yes. First of all, tell me what really happened, because I know they haven't told me everything.
Oh boy, where to start? Well, it all started and then everything.
Okay, good. Here's the thing. You're the smartest person in this group right now, as far
Well,
as I'm
thank you.
concerned.
I also feel that
And-
way too.
I know, and they never listen to you. I know
Oh,
how that
bizarre.
feels. So,
Bagel?
yes,
Here you go, bagel.
I'm going to be chewing the bagel and having this conversation with Topsy, but basically what I want is a backup plan. I don't trust Ramius. I do trust the party. I don't always trust everybody to make a good decision, and I think Topsy's got a pretty good sense of everything that we don't know because we're not from around here. So a backup plan, and the backup plan is at this point, I'm totally invested that this kid this means something to me, that this kid is being used by everybody. And I want him to be out of that if it's at all possible. Obviously not thinking completely clearly. Topsy, I want you to help me make sure that that happens.
So let me get this straight. Topsy told you the whole story of everything that happened and all the decisions you made, and you were like, this guy, he's the smartest guy.
This guy is the guy with hundreds of gold pieces in his pocket, and he's alive, and he's he's the smartest guy.
He woke up Godzilla.
I didn't wake up Godzilla now. Hey, now, I didn't throw the
He
rock.
did
Don't
not.
blame me for that.
He did not
That
wake
was
up
not
Godzilla.
me.
There's a lot of meta blame to be passed around about a lot of decisions, but
It was Alex's fault.
It's all your fault. There should have been a monster.
it's Gavin
anyway.
Norman's fault. Let's
What are you
blame
talking
Gavin.
about?
All of this is his fault.
It was Gary's fault.
It was
in his
Gary's
basement.
fault. His basement's fault. Anyway.
Well, Lillibeth, here's how I see it. I mean, from what I've understood about the local rumors going around, is this kid, as you said, is the main center for this whole political debacle. But if you ask me, our hands are kind of tied in this circumstance, and I'm afraid it's tied in the wrong way that could spell very bad consequences for the area. Because one, I don't know this Ramius fella. He's kind of, bigwig, but I don't know him. Two, his brother, the little more crazy one, the kid's father, is blaming him for having the kid, which he doesn't. But, these political figures got spies everywhere trying to do all their little sneaky works. I mean, I don't know anything about that kind of business, but once this kid enters his custody, I'm just going to say he's going to find out, and he's going to say, I told you so. We're going to go head to head now. Sorry, you did it. We knew. We always knew. So honestly, this is a lose-lose situation. I've already raised my fair share of kittens, and in a place like this, oh boy, this is not the circumstance to raise a child, is all I'll say.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it too. I don't know what we can do. Honestly, we may not have any choice. I know that.
Our
There's a lot of
decision
things.
was made for us once we brought the guard into it, is all I'm going to say. What comes
Yeah,
next is...
Our
for the
decision was made when we
future-
brought the garden. That's a good point.
Okay, but we
what the
got to
future-
do.
What the future holds for us is out of our hands once it gets to him.
Well, it's out of our
But-
hands now, but yeah.
There's still always in the meantime. If you're trying to plan something, I don't know. But I'm saying there's still a little bit of moment that we have left. Once it's there, it's gone.
I think we might want to leave something with Billy, something that he can read. I hope he can read. Hopefully he can read. So at least he knows. He knows what happened instead of not. So maybe the only thing we can do is leave him the story of what we did, because he doesn't know any of it. And maybe that's all we can do. So I want to do that.
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right. So, is there anything else, any other conversations or things that need to happen here tonight?
I would quietly apologize to my brother. I'd apologize again and again about what I did.
And you'll be apologizing probably for months to come.
You slapped me. I had to put my hand on your head like this, and you were trying to hit me. Did you know that?
Touch me now.
I
You know.
Yep. We're hearing that the entire time once you're on the road. So, night passes. There is no trouble. The alarm is never set by the guard. You do your watches and everything. It is a peaceful, quiet night. And we wake up on the 14th of Reed Rhyme. There's brooding clouds overhead, but it is a cool 50-degree weather. Nice marching, walking briskly through the woods weather. Captain...
So we are going to go. We're not going to abscond before the captain just leave the child for the captain and disappear. As it seems like Thomas kind of wanted to get out of here.
Yeah, Thomas is not too keen on this whole idea. He wanted to have the boy go away, never to be thought of again.
Let's it might be easier to not talk about this in character, just be like narrate like this is my stance and like how you're going to resolve things, because the captain in the morning will arrive at the miser, and so it's just a matter of, are you still there?
Yeah, I guess that's I know the party's probably split on this a little bit as to what we want to do.
I would say that the friar would try to convince Thomas that this is one of those things that we need to see through, and about the kid's well-being, and talk to this
I would
person
feel
and whatnot. And I don't know if anything he'd throw in. There might be a reward if you're there too. Might be worth it.
I'd point out that running away with the boy, once they know that we have the boy, is probably the worst way to draw attention to ourselves.
Oh, I think Thomas was saying we would run away and leave the boy.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Not take the boy.
I'm not leaving the boy.
Yeah. I'm thinking long term, right?
Mhm.
We show up with the boy and hand him over to Ramius. It can easily be stated by the other guy that he had him all along. All this other kind of stuff.
That's what Topsy was saying.
That's exactly correct. And us showing up and having our faces and names applied to bringing the boy. I mean, it's just, this is all
what if
very
we had
unwanted
faces
attention.
and different names? What if what if we used our best disguise kit, or Topsy could help us? And
It's a cat. Meow meow.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. I'm just a little cat.
Yeah.
I got an easy out. I don't know about y'all.
Yep.
You could ask for anonymity.
we could just try to keep you in the background, Thomas, and try not to have you talk. But warning, that would mean probably me saying the wrong thing.
I mean, I can do some talking if you want.
I think it'd be your meow meow.
I'm just throwing out options. But honestly, I ain't leaving.
I'm thinking, Thomas, the way that you said that is like, okay, so we show up, we're bringing the kid, everybody knows. So A, we're either A, the kidnappers, in which case he was never kidnapped before, or B, we're bringing this child away from a desperately bad situation. Somebody can publish that. It won't stop any kind of war, but we won't be like the kidnappers. But we could easily become people who kidnap the kid one way or the other if we take him. And I'm not leaving. I mean, I'm just not.
You're sort of arguing against what you want to do here.
No, I'm arguing that if we don't go and if we don't follow through on what we said we were going to do with the captain, it's going to create more problems. And regardless of whether we're there or not, we're still associated with this. But there are too many people who know what the heck we're doing.
I'm just hoping that the reward thing was enough for Thomas to come anyway. Was it enough?
Perhaps you saw my wink and smile. I mean, I always like the idea of money, but I haven't really, I guess, expressed this. But one thing that Thomas is thinking is, if war was on the horizon, possibly between Ramius and Malbly, right? What if Ramius actually did kidnap the kid and was in, if you're going to go to war, you're going to look for allies, right? Perhaps those two Ogre Magi were allies. There was, it's possible that Ramius knew that the boy was here and had handed him up, releasing, that the ogres were using this whatever creature thing that we found in that pit, was using that to create some of this. We just don't know. We could be walking literally into the lion's den here. So
I think the friar would just kind of point out that a lot of the fear. Oh, Alex is writing stuff down. You give him an idea.
That's good.
Damn it!
I mean, if you think about it,
Just writing a question down. What if?
Yeah.
there was that second bleed in the attic.
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
who it was.
Correct.
But I
Correct.
would just say that the fear that this child has shown and that has been manifested has always been Malblade. That's kind
Yeah,
of what the Friar
It's
would.
true. Although I have to say that Geoffrey is not very bright, and Thomas has got his little mind going in conspiracy theory circles now, and now Geoffrey is convinced they need to cut and run. Thomas
You guys need to fight this out again, I think.
No, you would do it better against him than I would. I would love to see you kick his ass.
Oh, gee.
Kick my ass?
You
My brother.
was this a false apology?
Are you sure you're still not charmed?
You keep on reminding me I did it. Okay? You already forgave me. Now we can get upset about it again.
I just think we have to be aware that we don't know what's going on. Yes. We should have a whole bunch of contingency thinking going on,
Yes.
which we should always do. I'm going to say that Topsy's best at that, frankly. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. And I will be happy to kick his ass if he tries to, or try to. Anyway, he may beat me up, but I am not going to leave this kid
Yeah.
in here.
And we seem, generally speaking, very trusting of the lords and ladies and the influence peddlers who, in my knowledge, tend to be the most unscrupulous of folk. But we kind of continue to keep trusting those in power.
Well, they have the money.
They do have the money.
They give it to us, and we like it.
Well, that is true. That is very true.
That's very helpful.
So, in summary, are we following the money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
Geoffrey is so like turned around though now, like just picture him as like totally QAnoned out, and he sees conspiracies everywhere now because of what Thomas has told him.
Absolutely. So, Captain Lockhorn shows up in the morning and is ready to hit the road with you all. She settles up with the innkeeper, your tab. She was kind of covering all of that and whatnot. So, one of you, I imagine, is going to... The boy is still soundly asleep even in the morning.
Damn.
But Captain Lockhorn is more than happy to be the one to haul him.
I'm sorry,
Brother,
Alex.
could
Would
you
I be
choose
able
Detect
to cast Detect Magic in the morning?
Yes, and there is magic affecting him.
Okay. So I would pray and let everyone know that this is magical sleep.
Oh, I wonder how long it could possibly last. It seems eons to any other magical sleep I've seen.
Captain Lockhorn would remark that she would imagine that Lord Ramius will have some answer for how to bring him out of this. Castle Everdusk has a pretty well-stocked library, and she imagines that he has the means to maybe break whatever curse or spell is afflicting him. So she's just speaking out loud about the welfare of the child will be best served by being with Ramius. And as you set out on this brisk morning, we'll say...
I'm gonna nudge Thomas. She has to say that, huh? She has to say that.
Indeed.
She is wearing the banner, after all, of House Ramius. So you set out, and it's going to take you, we'll say, probably 4 hours or so, travel on the road. And you will begin to approach a steep hill where there's a stone keep atop it that looks over and down at the the lowlands around it. At its base, there is like a walled palisade and a garrison. And there's like a kind of white marble staircase that cuts up the hill, up from the garrison up until it reaches to where the keep is located. At the bottom where the garrison is, there's iron-studded gates, and the palisade is ringed with a number of watchtowers that look over and look out from the hill to the low. There's kind of a clearing here where there are no trees around this hill, so they look out into the woods. As you begin to approach, Captain Lockhorn would take point to be the one to address the guards once you approach the gates. And you will see that as you make your way to the gate, there are 6 or so short-horn guards posted up with spears, wearing the banner of Lord Ramius's house. And they call out to Captain Lockhorn, who replies her title and position, who she is with. She explains she's with a group that is. She describes you all as allies of House Ramius, and that you are escorting a very important individual. Like there's a little bit of kind of playing around with words there until she finally is out with it. Billy, the son of Lord Malbleet. The guards all like kind of look at each other. There's a bit of confusion at this proclamation, and they tell the lot of you to wait. And then there's sort of probably a good 10-15 minutes of anxiety kind of waiting out here, until on the palisade looking down, like above the gatehouse, there is a noble looking long-horned woman, about very tall, maybe 6.5 feet tall, ivory horns, pink eyes, and snow white fur. She's dressed in a gown of green velvet and a silver circlet upon her head, number of strings of pearls around her neck, and she looks down and she says, "Hail, friends, welcome to Castle Everdusk. May I look upon the boy?" And Captain Lockhorn will kind of turn him around and allow her to gaze at the child's face. And there's just like an astonished look on her face, like her eyes get wide, and she says, "That is him." And she calls down to you, "I will meet you in the gatehouse. I will receive you there." The gates open. You all move into the gatehouse, where there's maybe 8 or so short-horned guards there with spears that kind of are inspecting you, sizing you up a bit. And after just a moment, the woman, the longhorned woman, makes her way down from from above the gatehouse down the stairs to meet you here. And she says, "This is unexpected to receive you all here this morning with this boy who has been at the center of so many problems for House Ramius. Is he hurt? Is he harmed? We can take him in. We can give him a bed and give him plenty of rest."
Well, rest is one thing that he seems to be getting, but can't break out of.
But he is magically asleep currently.
Magic. I'm sure there is a story behind all of that. I'm sure there is something that we can do to help him. I myself am something of a magician. Perhaps I can restore him. How long has he been asleep the entire time he has been with you? Brother, I'm sure there is much knowledge that he has of what has happened to him, the truth of what has happened to him, not my uncle's lies.
When we came upon the boy, he
uncle?
was asleep, and he's been asleep as long as we've had interactions with him.
Did you say your uncle?
Well, my father's half-brother. Yes. I am sorry. I am presumptuous that you know who I am. I am Lady Lord Ramius, daughter of Shaghorn Ramius, Lord of House Ramius, Lord of Castle Everdusk. I am sure I will make all of your acquaintances in due time, but if you give the boy to me, I will take him and make sure that he is well cared for. In the meantime, I imagine my father would like to speak with you immediately and receive you. Especially you. And she looks over at Captain Lockhorn, who just nods. And she will reach out to kind of grab into her arms and kind of cradle the boy. And she takes her leave. And then the guards are all, one of them like steps forward and seems to be the sentry that is going to escort you to the throne room to speak with Lord Ramius.
Yep.
Got to get the blood off my armor as best I can.
Make yourself presentable.
I just keep looking behind me at where she's walking with the kid, if I can still see her.
Is Ramius a Breggle?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
He would be a Longhorn Breggle.
And she was a Breggle too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just maybe like a little recap of like the dynamics here. Lord Ramius is the head of House Ramius, which is supposed to be the ruler of Goat Country, basically. And the reason that he has historically been the ruler of the High Wold under the Baron is because his bloodline traces back to Hregel, who is a historical figure within Breggle history, who was responsible for throwing down the chains of the Droon, because the Breggles used to be enslaved to the Droon. The current conflict is that Lord Malbleet claims that he has a more direct line to Hregel than his half-brother. They both have different mothers. And so this has divided Goat Country, and Baron Hogwarsh should be the one to solve this problem, but he never solved it. He just cut a line down Goat Country and said Ramius gets this half and Malbleet gets this half. And he never resolved the underlying issue. He took a pretty lazy measure. So that's why this problem exists. And this woman that you just talked to, the Longhorn Lady Berold, is Ramius's daughter. I'm sorry, Chris, you had a question.
Oh, I do need to step away. I
Okay.
got a phone call, and I'm gonna call my dad back here.
Sounds good. Do you all want to take should we just take like a little break? We'll come back at 11:30 and move forward with all of this.
Sounds good.
All right, we will do that. Go ahead and take a bio break and refill coffee or whatnot. Folks out there hanging out with us, thanks for joining us. We'll be back in just a few moments. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us here this morning. We're going to continue the second half of our Dolmenwood playthrough. The group has just arrived at Castle Everdusk. They have the nephew of Lord Ramius in tow and are hoping that he will be here in safety. They have handed him over to Lady Berold Ramius, Lord Ramius's daughter, to care for. And they are currently being escorted to meet with Lord Ramius, who wishes to hear from them and receive them. And so you all are being escorted by a shorthorn guard who is wearing his heraldry and is taking you through currently as you pass through the gatehouse. You walk out into more or less a courtyard where you can see a stone barracks. There's a stables where horses are being kept. There are drills and pike training that is happening by maybe about a dozen or so shorthorns who are being under the command of a couple of longhorns who are doing some drills and such. And you are led to the steep stair of white marble that leads all the way up the hillside, up to the castle proper on top of the hill. And as you are climbing this switchback of stairs, you take notice there are portions of the hill where you can see like grave markers and monuments and such. There are little places where there's like little ledges where a rolling stone is parked in front of what would be it seems like a tomb entrance. And so there are all sorts of things like that that kind of pockmark the hill on your way up. But as you reach the top of the staircase, you reach the gates of the keep, which is tall and built of very ancient dark stone. Towers and such extend off the perimeter of the keep and look down off of the hill. And you can see that they're all manned by sentries that look out down to the lowlands below. You enter in and you travel through the interior of the castle, making your way upstairs until you are brought into a throne room, a red carpeted hall, walls lined with pole arms. There's a pair of taxidermied unicorns that are mounted and elaborately displayed above a thorn-rimmed throne where a larger, long-horned goat folk rests. His gaze narrows upon you all as you enter. He's got a crown upon his head. His studies you with intent as you enter. There is another figure that you immediately recognize within the throne room to his left. Black lace dress, crow's feet upon her eyes, but still a sort of elderly looking, not elderly, middle-aged beauty about her is Madame Shantywood, who looks surprised. You could see, there's a muted shock to see you as you enter the hall. But she is a professional. She does not, you only notice it because you're probably just as shocked to see her here. So there's very muted reaction that you see from her. But Lord Ramius stands, and he's wearing his robe that is lined with his house sigil. And he says, "Well, so you are the ones who have brought my nephew here. Please come forward and be received. This is a most joyous day to know that the boy is safe. Come, speak your names. Who do I have the honor of having within my house?"
I'll step forward and give him my name. I'll kind of push my brother forward too. I am Sir Geoffrey.
I am Friar Stephen Fitzpatrick. Very nice to meet you.
A man of the cloth, of the faith of the one true God, and a knight. Tell me, sir, which house do you serve?
Right now I am without a house.
A knight without a house is no knight. I am sure there is a story there. But I will not press you on these personal matters now. For you will join me tonight around my dinner table, and we will share many stories and wine and food. Please, the rest of you, will you give me your names? Who are you?
I am Lillibeth Harper, hunter and companion to Sir Geoffrey and Friar. Lillibeth?
Fitzpatrick.
I'll joyfully stroll up and just give like the most extravagant bow that I could possibly do with my very small stature. Topsy Fluff-a-kins.
Kezi
I-
would step forward and just say pretty curtly, Kezi.
I give a bow of my head and I just say, I am known as Thomas.
And you, Captain, I know well. I'm sure you will give a report, but now is not the time for business. Madam Shantywood, would you do me the honor of joining me this evening as well? We must discuss what is to happen to young Billy and discuss the arrangements for my daughter. And she just kind of like does a kind of a bow and she says, "Yes, Your Grace, of course. We can attend to all of these matters, and I can see of no better way to do so than to break bread with these heroes here." And he turns to you all again and he says, "Of course, let it be known that I am ever grateful for you bringing the boy here, and that such an act of honor and heroics should be rewarded. I treat all of those who are allies of House Ramius in such a manner. You shall be paid from the royal treasury, and we will put you up here for the night. Your reward, your material reward will be delivered to your room, but somehow that seems not enough. I would ask that you think upon how I can repay you, and we will discuss that this evening." Well, if there is nothing more to discuss at this time, I can have my servants take you to your rooms, to your quarters, so that you may rest. I am sure you have had a harrowing journey getting here, and I want you to be well rested and enjoy your time here in the hospitality of my home.
Thank you, Lord Ramius. We appreciate that hospitality.
Indeed.
And at this and the whole time, Madam Shantywood is just like looking at you with like a mix of curiosity, and
Does she seem pissed?
she doesn't seem pissed, just like kind of like how, like just befuddled.
How did she not know?
Yeah. This is something she did not know. So this time you are escorted not by a guard, but by someone who has more the stature of a a servant of the Longhorns. They are well dressed and well groomed and such, and they take you to one of the high towers where there are guest rooms, one for each of you. You all have individual rooms that are adjoined to kind of a common area where there's a roaring fireplace and comfortable divans and tables and refreshments of all kinds. Lots of taxidermied like fae and fairy creatures about. No Grimalkin, but yeah. So you were all brought to this place and like kind of left to take a rest, converse, whatever you need to do before the dinner this evening. Again, it's like morning, like it's like maybe around noon or so by the time you make it to the guest suites here.
I will tip the servant a baked potato.
They will accept your gift with
Is it fully like chives and all that?
All the fixins.
Oh, loaded baked potato. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm going to kick off my boots and say, and if there's a divan, sort of flop on it and say, I hope they have better clothes here, someplace that we can get. This is too much. When are we going to talk to Madam Shantywood? How much do you want to bet she's going to knock on our door?
Do we each have our own room, or are we given a?
Yeah, you all have like a room that's adjoined to this like common area. So you all have a
Ooh.
private bedroom, but then there's like a kind of like living area, kind of like a fancy hotel that has a bunch of adjoined rooms together. There's like a common area to sit and talk and
The kids' rooms
Smoke.
are at that.
This is an opportunity for a bath as well, I would think.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just as Lillibeth predicts, moments after you are you're getting cozy and everything like that, there is a knock on the door.
Oh.
I'll get it.
And you go and you open the door,
Topsy.
and there, Madam Shantywood, hands folded. She just, has the stature and demeanor of very formal. And as soon as you open the door, she just like walks in to the room.
I'm going to give her a mocking bow.
I stay seated.
Hello.
You too.
Hello. Shantywood, how are you? Great. That's good.
I can see that we are pleased to make our acquaintance once again.
Wait, you guys know each other?
We
That's
do.
one way of putting it, yes.
A
Wow, you
fact
guys get along.
that I came to assure you that I will not reveal to Lord Ramius, so you can rest assured that your freedom is intact.
What would you reveal to Lord Ramius? Oh, our
Your fugitive status here.
yeah.
You guys are fugitives?
I
That's one
see
way of
that we
putting
keep
it.
some secrets from... I am sorry, I did not mean to divulge.
Yeah, you're supposed to be known for your discretion too,
So Topsy, yes, we're fugitives.
What? Yeah, right.
Is
This part.
is this the leverage that you're dangling over our heads this time, Shantywood? What are we doing here?
I came just to share with you that I have assurances that your friend has made it safely home.
That's good news.
And I am hoping to get a preview of the story that you are going to share with Ramius here tonight. How is it that you found this boy that so many have been looking for? How is it that you came to have custody over him?
How
I'm
is
going
it
to
that
say
you
kind-
don't know the answer to that when you've been having us followed all around the Dolmenwood?
Well, I seem to have lost track of you some months ago, or over a month ago. I presumed that you had all died in whatever mischief that you get up to, and yet here you are again at the center of intriguing events.
I would say that perhaps kindness, a desire to do good, and the influence of Friar Fitzpatrick is a large part of why we are here and why we're alive, and probably why you have not been able to keep track of us.
Well, all I can say is it is impressive and makes me respect you all the more that you have been able to be so elusive.
I mean, if you ask me, it's pretty impressive. You're right next to the Lord Ramius himself. That's pretty sweet. You must have like some, like you must be like a real bigwig. Are you like working business partners? Is he like your significant other? Like, come on.
I suppose sharing a bit with you would be no matter, after all. We do have a bit of a double jeopardy situation going on here, perhaps. I am here because I see an opportunity. An opportunity to get what I really want. For what little you know about me, it is not... I don't seek power and influence for its own sake, but to avenge a great wrong that happened to me and my family. My eldest daughter was brutalized many years ago by a longhorn known as Lord Merkin. He has grown unruly, in part because of the truth that you have brought before me about the nature of the Empire. She just kind of like looks over at Topsy, realizing that maybe you haven't filled her in on everything, so she kind of vague about that, but she says, there's an opportunity here to get access to Lord Merkin. I wish to see him dead for what he has done. But to do so, I need the consent of the powers that be. I need Lord Ramius as an ally. I need his blessing to go forward with any plot that I might devise. So, I am here because I can broker something that Lord Ramius wishes, and that is his daughter's hand to Baron Hogwarsh, and I believe that I can make it so.
The poor woman.
Like the Gambit. We do appreciate you giving us a slice of information about yourself. It does, while it does little to endear you to us, I would say that it does seem that you have held most of the cards throughout most of our relationship. So we do somewhat appreciate you handing us at least one.
And she smiles and she says, I do not share this to endear myself to you, but to, again, my respect is with you all. Clearly you can handle yourselves. And here I find you. Fate has brought us together again. I came here to suggest at some point in the future I may need individuals such as yourselves to carry forth my plot. Seeing as how I am connected, it may be worth your while, should that day come, for us to be in business together again.
I appreciate your motive, actually. Vengeance for what seems to have been brutalization by a man with an unfortunate name makes a lot of sense, and you could probably just ask us. This might actually fall under the category of a good thing to do. So from that standpoint, I'm certainly willing to consider it. It might be fun.
I just take a big swig of my wine and just kind of like, what? That's it. I just continue to listen.
Madam Shantywood just says, that day is not today. But I figured I would come here and plant the seed, because I think we will be seeing each other again one day. Good day. And she will take her leave of you.
She didn't want the preview of what we were going to be laying down, I guess. Okay.
I offer her a lemon tart before she leaves.
I was all ready to negotiate how much she was going to pay us for the
story,
for the inside information, so she can begin her plots and planning on what we're going to say.
Yeah, maybe she got derailed by the emotions of her vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the one time that you see her drop like a little bit of the facade of prim and proper, double agent or whatever, or master manipulator. Like, you've seen that in her before, that this is the real her.
we've got a glimpse into the real Shantywood.
Well, maybe she'll start treating us as allies instead of tools and lackeys. If she
I mean,
has respect for us.
It sounds that way. It sounds like she's sort of by giving us that information, she's sort of almost saying, like, I see you as an equal now, almost, like.
How would we why would we assassinate someone though? I don't understand.
I'm sure she's gone, right?
She's gone. Yeah.
Okay. I don't. He takes another drink of water.
How would we? Why? No.
No.
If it has the permission of the Lord, then it goes. It's the law of the land, and I see no issue with it. It is the law. It goes with the code of chivalry.
I would support that, and I would say even more so, I don't think she wants his death. I think she wants his humiliation and suffering, which might be a little bit much. So, Friar, I understand drinking the wine.
Yes.
I'm not saying we should necessarily do this. I do think that it's just one more option before us, right? Shantywood is clearly influential in this land. And we do want to stay on the right side of her. And yes, exactly. If we are looking to make some coin, there is an option there. And like I said, I see no issue with it as long as she does get the approval of Lord Ramius, and it would be just and noble, in my opinion.
And it was Lord Mirkwood was the name she dropped?
Yeah, Merkin.
Merkin. Do we know anything as far as, he's like low-level lord guy? Or would we have any idea? I've not heard that name before.
I don't.
House Ramius, clearly.
I don't think you've heard a lot of information about Lord Merkin other than maybe this more recent stuff. That he has a relationship with Shantywood somehow.
But we don't know if he serves Lord Ramius or Malbly.
I don't think so.
Okay.
At least not without asking somebody some questions about him. So, is there more discussion to be had here, or
just a clarification as far as what's going to happen? Because I just had this. Baron Hargwash is this
The drunken fool.
Well, Baron Hargwash is her grandfather, right?
No, Baron Hogwarsh is the human lord of the High Wold.
Okay.
So he's at the top of the
Okay.
pyramid, just below the Duke.
Got it. Okay.
And
That
he's
makes sense.
supposed to
I
be the
thought for
one that's
some
in
reason-
charge of
okay.
all these goat folk longhorn nobility, and he does a piss poor job of it. And they
Okay.
kind of are squabbling.
Got it.
So marriage to Lord Ramius's daughter might actually be helpful for everybody concerned, frankly.
Yeah, you can imagine the political calculus there as Lord Ramius is trying to rein in Hogwarts
Mhm.
to try to influence his decision making. All
You
right.
guys are fugitives? What did you do? What crimes did you commit?
None.
I want to know it all.
None, Topsy.
Liar.
We were
clearly
we were railroaded.
You
we were railroaded.
You were railroaded. What's a railroad? Gibberish.
We can give you the entire skinny and I don't know. Can you make a lemon tart for me? while
Sure.
we're talking about it?
Lemon tart. Gonna cost you a crime.
I want you to guess what I did, Topsy. What do you think I did?
Disorderly conduct. You ran around the street in the nude.
Yep.
No.
You're good. Yep, that's what I did.
Well, brother, it's not like you didn't do that. It's just not.
I've done it. Yes, I've done it many times. I just haven't got caught. Yes, you are correct. It was when I was younger. No, not. I was different. I was weird. You know how. Yeah. No.
Let me guess. Geoffrey, you killed your previous lord, and that's why you don't have a house. You did it. You're houseless because you did it to him. You stuck it to him.
Not quite, but
Dang it.
If you must know, I had papers that I was not supposed to.
You got arrested for papers?
That's right.
For a piece of paper? Something comes from a tree? That's how you got arrested?
Well, it wasn't so much the paper; it was what was written on the paper. But,
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, leave with that. Like documents, you could say, is a key word in this situation. Papers.
yes.
Lillibeth. You killed animals you should not have in royal groves.
Oh, if only, but no. I'm much more closely aligned with Thomas in that someone somewhere decided to actually frame me for something I really didn't do, but they just asked me I might have. In other words, forging.
You forged the papers that you gave to Thomas, which he got caught with, and the finding out of this documentation led Geoffrey to kill the previous lord of his house, which then sent the friar on a drunken rampage through the city naked.
I really didn't do it. Well, like I said, I have done it, but no, I actually was withholding.
No. You know, you
Okay.
say it. I understand. It's okay. You don't have to make you have a problem, but if you ever need to talk about it, I'm right here.
So there's some discussion about the whole fugitive aspect that has been revealed to Topsy for the first time. The lot of you take baths, you enjoy the comforts of your rooms and such, and for the first time in probably over a week now, since being in the luxury of the exorbitantly priced place that you were at in the High Hinkle, you're enjoying a little bit of luxury off of the road. But dinner time comes, and a servant comes to call for you, and will escort you all to the dining hall. And you will enter into a proudly decorated hall with a long lacquered table that is set up. There's a whole suckling pig there complete with the apple in its mouth. Number of dishes that are both familiar and unfamiliar. There's some kind of a strange pickled moss salad that is displayed. Many decanters of wine that is being poured into glasses by servants who are attending to this whole banquet that is happening. Lord Ramius is at the head of the table, joined by Madame Shantywood, Lady Beryld Ramius, and also present are his two sons, Bramble and Hranid Ramius. You will recognize them as the two longhorns that were leading the drills in the courtyard earlier when you passed through. So they are all present. There are seats for all of you, including Kezi, and servants are kind of pulling the chairs out and giving you that sort of very pampered service and scooting the chair right under you and putting the napkins or whatnot under your necks for you to catch your food. And Lord Ramius just says, "Friar, it seems that maybe we don't have many from the Church of the One True God grace my house. Would you lead us in a prayer to bless this bounty that we are to enjoy together?"
Sure. Everyone, please bow your heads. The one true God, and, well, Saint Godwin, I pray that you bless this feast that so many long for and wish to eat. This food. This food is wasted on our lips. It should be, this blessing of food should be given to all, but we are so thankful to have it here. May you keep us in good health, and may we have your blessing, and, well, the decisions to be made in the future. Through everything and through you, all good works are done. Amen.
Thank you, Friar, for that. Please eat and drink. Enjoy your time here. I wish to start, though. My daughter noticed an interesting object on your person, and his gaze turns to Lillibeth. You carry with you a sword. It is, I believe, a relic of the past. May I see it? Sorry, I think we can't.
Certainly,
Yep.
you may see it. And are you curious about how I came to hold it?
Of
and so I'll pull the
course.
sword out. I'd be happy to share that story with you over the course of the dinner.
Excellent. This is a rare find that you bring to us here.
It has saved my life and the life of my companions many times, and I have been grateful for its use.
Yes. And it has been certainly responsible for saving the lives of many Breggle folk in the days of our war with the Droon that led us out from under their shackles, away from their sorcery. You know that the mother of all free folk is here. Her monument is here. She died here, and she remains here at Castle Everdusk.
I have a question then, which is how is it that her sword would be found in a barrow far from here?
If my recollection of history is correct, that barrow is where many of our fallen soldiers are interred from the days long ago. It is probably a minor miracle that after 1,000 years some tomb robber didn't abscond with it. No. You may carry it with you. Among one, we take no offense to you holding it. In fact, knowing that you have brought my nephew back here with me and that it is in your hands, it would seem that maybe once again it has saved many Breggle lives. For we seek to avert war. It is regrettable that House Ramius is divided. My half-brother claims to be more related to Breggle than I. It is frustrating that Baron Hogwash cannot come to see reason and the political courage to put an end to this. But for the time being, perhaps you bringing Billy to me will quell this most recent of Lord Malbleet's flimsy excuses to divide us further.
Is Billy awake, if I may ask?
Lady Barreled would say, oh yes, I have managed to rouse him from his slumber, although he has not said anything. He's just sitting quietly in his room.
I'm not speaking for the party at the moment. I'm speaking for myself. You asked if there was something that more than the material reward that we might like. And so I'm not speaking for anybody else but myself. And that is, I would appreciate the chance to be able to talk to him, if it's at all possible.
Of course, after dinner, you shall be able to see the boy.
Thank you.
Tell me, I wish to hear the story of how you came to find Billy.
So strangely,
Go ahead.
strangely, he found us, and then we found him, and it is very confused with magic. So it's a long story. Topsy, do you want to tell what you know? Because from what I know, I never met him awake, but I have certainly talked to him asleep.
Well, I think the best person actually at the store would be the good Friar over there. I mean, he is the whole reason why we set up in this general direction to begin with. Would you say so, Friar? Come on, it's your turn.
Thank you, Kitty. Well, I heard of a village that near Highhankle that, well, the church was worried about undead and such. A small village. We blessed it and put the dead to rest there. It was then, well, when we... He looks at Thomas and sees Thomas is kind of eating his food. Continues to talk. It is then that, well, we came in contact with a boy while we were in camp. He was near the lake. We went to investigate, at least one of us did. I'm gonna give it back. I do not want to tell this story.
So-
I'm giving it back.
So I chased him because I could tell he was lost, and I knew that he shouldn't be out there by himself amongst all that we had already experienced. And long story short is, let me see, I found him in the skeleton of some very large beings. Then I realized he wasn't real, even though he told me everything. We saw an image of Lord Malbleet, so there was a lot of illusion involved in all of this, which is why we ended up going back or finding someone who could help us actually understand this better, which was the good captain. And so the good captain agreed to come and help us resolve all of this, because it was very clear that the living Billy was captured by, I don't know, witches, that we couldn't fight on our own. So, yeah. So we did fight the witches, although I didn't see any of it because I grabbed Billy and ran. So I left my companions and I ran, and I took him with me, and I am really, really sorry that I didn't stay and help, but I just knew I had to get him out there.
Very interesting, this tale. So these illusions, manifestations of the bicorn. I see. Well, rest assured, nothing shall happen to Captain Lockhorn. I understand and know the power of these creatures. I wonder what their interest was in the bicorn, but...
What is the bicorn? You're clearly familiar with it.
Well, yes, I am familiar with it. It is a beast, we believe, from the lands of Fairy. Peculiar in that it has been asleep for so long. Many of our people, myself included, believe that by paying tribute to the bicorn, it will rest in slumber peacefully. Rest assured, I am reassigning Captain Lockhorn to keep a greater eye on the cavern that lies below, to ensure that it remains asleep.
Paying tribute to a fairy thing. Wow, that's a really exciting tale, you say. Wow. I mean, it must be, I don't know, like crazy being, you know?
Indeed.
And the manifestations that you're talking about, the byproducts of it being around, what does it do exactly? That it manifests nightmares, or it creates illusions?
We believe it is a dream eater. Regurgitates those that it consumes when it is done with them, feeds on them. Perhaps whatever those magi were doing there, they were using our little Billy to feed it, influence it. Strange. The worst of it being Lord Malblate. I don't understand that necessarily.
It was definitely the worst of it. For Billy, anyway.
Well, he is in a better place away from all of that now, thanks to you. I believe I will send word immediately to Baron Hogwash. Let him know that the boy has been found, so that we can resolve the issue at hand.
I have a question, Alex, really quick, out of character and whatnot. When I detected the magic, I was looking for that see if he was under like magical sleep. Was there any other magic I detected as well, like from that?
At the time that you did it, the sleep would have been the thing
Okay,
active.
all right.
As he is talking out loud, he's saying, "We will keep Billy here at Castle Everdusk in the meantime. We will want to ensure that the boy is safe. We are concerned about his treatment by my half-brother. And I hope that this matter can be resolved swiftly, and more attention paid to Lord Merkin and Colestoke Keep to the west." And he seems like he looks directly at Madame Shantywood as he says that, and she's nodding. And Madame Shantywood says, "Your Grace, I would be willing to go ahead to High Hankle on your behalf to deliver this message to Baron Hogwash. Allow me to act as your third party. It will ensure that there is a degree of separation between you so that we avert any rumors of your collusion. And perhaps while I am there, I can approach the subject of your daughter's hand." And you can see Lady Beryl just kind of like give a hurt look at her father. There is no subtlety to this, that there is no desire on her part to be wed to Baron Hogwash. And Lord Ramius says, "Yes, I believe that sounds to be in order. Madam Shantywood, you shall leave in the morning and arrange a meeting. My guests, let us turn to you for a moment. I earlier suggested a reward for your efforts in bringing the boy back. Tell me, what is it that you would ask of me?" And before you enter into that, I should give you a tally of what would have been left in your room for you. At some point during the afternoon, a sum of 3,000 gold pieces would have been delivered to the room, plus a bag of 12 gems, each one worth 200 gold pieces. Of that, Kezi is going to retain 250 gold and one of the gemstones.
Fair enough. So are we requesting then, like, basically a boon for the party from Ramius, or like is he asking what each one of us basically wants on top of what was given to the party?
It seems more like he's entertaining any request that you might ask of him, and if it is in his power, he would make it so. It could be an individual request from each of you, and, you know, depending on what it is, he'll either yes, no, or maybe.
I think Geoffrey is going to step forward and say, you know, he is a knight without a house, that he retains his honor, but because he acted honorably, he was disfavored by his house, and that you know, Lord Ramius has acted honorably here in you know, from what he has seen, and so Geoffrey would be asked to, you know, gain Lord Ramius's favor and get some armor of House Ramius and maybe a steed.
You wish to be knighted again?
Yeah.
I don't know that I have any non-longhorns in my service, but for your acts here, it would give me no greater honor than to have you be knighted and join with House Ramius. A horse, armor befitting your station, and I do believe a parcel of land should be bequeathed unto you. And he, like, laboriously kind of stands from his chair. My sword. No, your sword. And he, like...
I'll hand him the regal sword, right?
Yeah, there you go.
He takes that and he, like, you know, lumbers over to you and he asks you to take a knee. And he does the ritual, shoulder on each shoulder and back again. And he says, from this day forth, you once again are knighted, Sir Geoffrey of House Ramius.
It's a great honor. Thank you.
And he instructs you that any horse that you see in the stables is yours.
Awesome. After this, I will take some time to assess the horses since I have that horsemanship thing and pick a fine steed.
And the rest of you, how about your brother, Father Fitzpatrick?
I feel it's not fitting to think of myself at this time. I'm happy. First off, I am thankful. Good for my brother to be grounded. So happy. Thank you for taking him on as your knight. I think of, well, the people, those that are poor and could do with some food and help is all. I don't know how to explain that further other than to give more to the people that need it.
A noble sentiment, Friar. I too wish that all of our people could live peacefully without the looming threat of war, with food in their bellies. I believe if we can put our differences aside, we may reach this pinnacle.
In that case, maybe a book of like herbs or something will do.
I am sure you can find, my daughter will help you with finding something in the library.
Okay.
The rest of you.
I'm going to look over at Kezi and then just speak. I came here not knowing what the future would hold. And my goal before I came was to come to know the land in which I live, to understand the creatures, and to act as a steward and to use its bounty wisely. So to do that, I would want to work with the hunters and others who seek the same thing. So I would ask freedom of your woods and domain for that purpose. Friar, I promise to donate whatever we are able to hunt. But if we establish a lodge for that purpose, then, Kezi, I would ask that you join with me to establish ourselves here, because we wouldn't be here without you.
You have, of course, the Dolmenwood is wild. It refuses to be tamed. Far be it from me to claim its riches and rewards in whatever form that takes for you. You are, of course, granted free reign through my domain.
Thank you.
And you, my little Grimalkin friend, what is it that you would ask?
Oh boy, have I heard that quite often. Well, you've been around as long as I have. You don't really look at things that you really need per se. So, honestly, I'm good. I've been walking around for well over my 7th century, and honestly, I'm okay. I got everything I need right here.
For the kitty who has everything, what do you get? Well, I hope that the bounty that you have been given will feed you 10 times over during the rest of your days. And you, my friend, he looks at Thomas, what would you ask?
Firstly, I would like to say I thank you for your generosity up to this point and your offer of even more. I too would request a horse and all of the strappings that go along with that, saddle, bridle, and such, and perhaps a writ of your favor that I may carry around.
It is done. I will have it drafted and delivered to your room in the morning with my seal. Excellent. Well, I thank you for joining me at my table here this evening. Is there anything else we have to discuss? Otherwise, I would like to spend my evening near the fire thinking about everything that has come to light here this evening.
One last request.
Of course.
I stand up and pick up my glass. And I say, I would like everyone to take part in a toast to friends, to friends, to acquaintances becoming friends, to the new friends we have made. And I would also like to raise my glass and have us all raise our glasses to friends we have lost, to Waymond the Wise, and to silver upon his brow.
I will cheers to that. An excellent tribute to the fallen and lost. Enjoy your time here. You are welcome to stay at Castle Everdusk for as long as you need. If there is anything else that you need, please feel free to ask my servants. We will do everything in our power to keep you comfortable and offer you our hospitality. You are friends here. And he will get up. He fills his wine glass to the brim and kind of waddles laboriously out of the room.
Nice.
Madame Shantywood, in turn, she leaves her wine glass. She has taken some amount of sips upon it, but you notice that it is half full as she curtly kind of gets up from the table and gives you all a curtsy, and she heads out of the dining hall as well. The boys, the two sons, there's some glances that are traded between Lady Beryld and the two sons, but they take their leave, and you can see Beryld is maybe weeping a bit. She takes like the cloth and is kind of like patting her eyes. But then she, lastly, slowly and with some distress, leaves the room.
We're kind of assuming that has to do with Madame Channyhood's business.
Yeah.
It's rough being rich.
It's tough stuff.
Oh, sad.
She has her own magic, though, so that should be interesting.
Anything this evening that the group wishes to do? Conversations you need to have with one another before turning in?
With one another.
gonna-
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think Lillibeth wanted to speak with the boy, but was he awake? Did they?
Yes. He is awake.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to Billy?
You
And
want to
Kezzy.
go? Okay, Kezzy's with you.
Kezzy, I didn't ask you before I asked for my boon, so I would understand if you chose not to join with me, but I would appreciate being able to learn more from you and would be grateful to have you come with me if you see it as a path forward.
For as long as coin like this is coming into my pocket, you shall have my bow.
Then we better make sure that we keep earning coin.
She not cheap.
With that, so Lillibeth, you want to go to the tower where Billy is,
Yes.
and going alone, or is the rest of the group coming also?
I would go.
I'll follow. I'm a goat folk now.
Yes.
You can go anywhere.
Okay, so the group heads to the tower. Door is open, and there's a small bedroom, kind of a twin bed. Some, it's very much furnished just like your guest rooms, but he's there. He's sitting at a desk, and he's just got like there's some parchment out. He's like drawing on it with like an ink pen, just kind of scribbling.
Right. But at this point, would I be able to pray once more and detect that last,
Oh,
Sure,
you want to
detect
see if
magic?
he's magic himself?
or just what's going on? So I know that there was a mention of some type of arcane like lock on him or something at one point.
He's a magic man. Burn, 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 burn.
Magic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to read what it says? As far as
Sure.
detect magic. All right. Great. Let me scroll up.
Detect magic is what you're casting.
Yes, detect magic. Enchanted objects, areas, or creatures are caused to glow. Both permanent and temporary enchantments are revealed.
He's glowing. Yeah.
Oh, he magic.
Sorry, we would not see that though, right? Only the friar would see
I
that.
think everybody. I think he kind of lights up, right?
Glows.
He glows.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't say that it's just
cast
to me,
on him.
so-
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
he's like kind of glowing. You see, he's kind of looking at his hand. He like looks at you.
Hello.
He lets out a little bleat, and then he goes back to kind of scribbling with the ink. He's not drawing anything in particular. He's just like scribbling around.
So it's just scribble.
Yep.
I'm gonna kneel next to him and see if I can look at his face or if he'll look at me. Will he look at me?
Not very instinctually, although if you're there kind of staring at him for a bit of time, like you'll get kind of like awkward side glances from him.
Then I'll say, Billy, I talked to you before. I think you were asleep when I was talking to you. Do you remember talking to me?
Nah.
I look helplessly around the room. What the heck does that mean?
It's like unintelligible.
Okay. I decided I meant what I said about giving him something that he could read. And it's for him, so I'm giving him just basically a block printed set of the tale of how I met him and what happened, and let him know that he could reach out if he needed to.
Starts scribbling over the pages.
So he's scribbling over the pages that I gave him.
Yep.
Friar,
Yes.
is he magic?
I don't
Hmm. I'm not sure if he is magic.
Now you had heard he was blocked or something, right? Where we had heard that
The experience with the wizard.
with the wizard, because maybe he's. It looks like he's scrying or something like that, right? And maybe he's being blocked. Maybe he's trying to scry and he can't be, and that's why it's just scribbles.
touch him,
Who?
the boy. Make sure he's real.
Okay, so I'm gonna reach out and touch him gently.
He kind of like recoils from you. You touch him, and he feels real. And then he looks at you, and then now he's like staring with his goat eyes like directly into your eyes.
Okay. And so I'm gonna stare right back at him. I said, I think you're there. If you are there, say something beside meh.
Nah.
He turns away from you and starts scribbling again.
Okay, he's there.
So what you've been told about this boy, just to like recap, like
Mhm.
remember that like, his father was trying to have a wizard undo something. Like there's something wrong with him, whether it's magical enchantment, whether it is his parentage being half human, half Breggle, sometimes comes with some kind of birth defect. So there's a lot of things in question. You've never met the boy any other way than how you see him. Furthermore, like the grandfather wouldn't know much about whether he was ever healthy or capable of speech or anything either, because he didn't know him most of his life. He was in captivity with Lord Malbleet. So, in long story short, you're trying to communicate with him. You're never in this moment going to get him to evoke anything other than little bleats and sounds, but nothing that's like intelligible speech. He seems to have the mind of maybe like a 2-year-old at best. But there
Well,
is
it makes-
something magical with him, like he is glowing.
Well, I'm going to stand back up because clearly this is beyond my pay grade as a hunter. I don't have magic. Friar can't help that much, but maybe his cousin would be somebody to talk to at some later point in time and explain everything about
Oh,
the wizard.
homegirl.
So
Shantywood.
I know Chris has a hard out here in about 5 minutes, so I want to get one last thing in related to that. You guys at some point will go to bed, go to sleep, and Geoffrey, there's going to be a knock on your door that wakes you up.
Okay. I will get up, check the door.
When you check the door, Lady Lord Ramius will be there,
I will invite her in.
and she will say, "There's no easy way to come to you, good sir, with this request, but you are now of our home. My father wishes to have me wed to this terrible, awful person. The only way that I can think to avert this is if I had another suitor. I am not asking for love. I am not asking for anything but the legal status of our union. Please, I beg of you."
Geoffrey would be torn, being he's in this. He's trying to. His mind is going now, right? Because he's gotten in trouble with chivalric law in the past, right? and he's trying to go, what am I supposed to do here? But he sees this as a direct order by a member of his House Ramius. And so he's going to get down on one knee and he's going to propose.
And she immediately accepts and she says, "Wake your brother. It must be done tonight."
Some kind of the court.
Yeah, he's going to grab her hand. He's going to take her by the hand and they're going to go to his brother's room and wake him up.
He just opens his eyes and looks. Oh no.
It's gonna end like Quantum Leap with him saying "Oh boy," and then credits roll.
"Please, brother, you must do this for us, please."
Why do you need? Why do you need? Oh.
You are
Yeah,
anointed by the one true God to perform
Yes.
such ceremonies, no?
Yes, are you in love?
Of course we are, brother. And he's gonna plant a big smooch right on her goat lips.
And like you feel something when you do.
Oh. Ooh. I've never kissed a goat before. Maybe I'm learning something about
Maybe
myself.
it's your wish is coming true, but there is something that's pulling at your
My
heart.
true love. Oh my God.
And she kind of gives you a look like almost like she's astonished as well, as if she felt something.
You felt the spark. Ooh. Brother, you must do it now.
It would be my pleasure to do this for you, brother.
Now, I'm gonna give you a big hug.
But we need at least one. We must have at least
A witness, right?
a witness. Yes.
The cat.
Yeah. Get Topsy.
Topsy, you were roused from your sleep in the middle of the night by a Breggle and the two Fitzpatricks.
Oh no.
Are you awake?
Hey, I am now.
No need to even get up. We're doing it in here. Here
What?
we go.
Doing what? What are you doing?
We thank you for coming here today.
Oh, oh no.
And he just flips through it. No. Yes, okay. All right. Pull the
Wedge.
The mountain edge is what brings us together here today.
We can like just kind of like fade out at this moment of like this scene, this chaotic little wedding ceremony that happens in the dead of night. And maybe we'll come back to describing how that plays out at the beginning of the next session. But wow, a lot happened in a short amount of time.
I'm a married man.
I was actually picturing the fade out be the next morning when Thomas finds out.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "This is a bad and then it fades to black. This is a bad effing idea. Bad.
So we will pick up with that in 2 weeks' time. Do we have time for gratitude at the tail end here? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, let's move into that for the session.
I'm gonna throw mine out to Mr. Dawson. Dude, your character is like so awesome, dude. When you just threw out like total you're just like, oh, I've got dozens of kids. Like, I want to know the story now. I want to know the names. I want to know the baby mamas. Like, I need 7,000 years of history. Give it to me because I want to know. It was so awesome. That was great.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we haven't met some already.
You know, one of them
Yeah.
had these really nice little boots that he wore all the time.
Yeah.
That's
But no
great
socks.
flavor, dude. What great flavor just to throw it in. It was like a little thing you just threw in on the side that just like, oh man, so great. So good.
I'll
I'm
throw
going
mine
to
out.
echo
to-
that.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to echo that. I mean, Topsy adds a whole nother set of flavor to this campaign. So, and you play her so well, and she just in this particular game added all of the true frustration you would expect Grimalkin to be experiencing dealing with these dull humans. So awesome.
Well, thank you. I'll throw mine to you, Maureen, for the concern and the care for this little kid. You know, coming out like one going in, grabbing him, getting him to safety, and constant like care and concern for him. I really enjoyed it.
I'll throw mine out to Ryan just for the gigantic curveball there at the end.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The wish came true.
Oh boy, what a good timing! What a good time. I
Well,
think I'm gonna
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say I had the thing up here with the code of chivalry, and I was like, oh man, you gotta go with this.
But no, I think I would just I'm gonna give it my gratitude out to everyone just for the fact that I feel like we understand our characters so well that it seems so normal to interact with all the characters in the way that we do, and I enjoy just getting lost in this interaction of like I feel like I'm really talking to each one of you, so I thank you for that, and I will give a special thanks to Dawson for playing this poor Grimalkin that don't get no respect, even though I and I'm sure that the Friar really does respect your little kitty cat.
You
Yeah,
see me on smiling in the blur.
blurred.
Yeah, I don't know if you're missing.
I'd give mine probably here to Ryan for Geoffrey. I really liked the request for the knighthood was cool, and then I didn't necessarily plan to do that little thing at the end, but I was like, oh, this is like too perfect of a setup. Let's see what happens if I propose this. And I know it was a little rushed, but it just felt like I don't know. It was good to know that if I throw things like that out there kind of on a whim, like you're gonna make something of it or make it like cool, and so I enjoy that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was awesome.
I'd like to call out a moment too. I mean, the toast was
Yeah.
excellent.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
It was
That was
really
really
excellent.
good.
Well, thank you all for playing here this morning. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll chat maybe in our Discord group a little bit because to me it sort of makes sense that you might be here more than just a day. Like it seems like it would be kind of weird if you just in the morning were like, well, see you later. We're heading up into the woods or whatever. So we could maybe, if you guys think it makes sense to time lapse, like we could skip forward some amount of time, whatever we think is necessary, and just kind of summarize what happened and then get us back into the action of whatever you choose to do. I think that needs to, if we had more time, we would have engaged in that discussion. I know meta-wise in the chat, we have discussed about you guys going maybe to head towards where you believe the Cold Prince's palace is. So if that's still top of mind and that as of right now is still what you want to do, we could do that. There was kind of the introduction of Madame Shantywood's thing. We could do that. If we want to go and play out Sir Geoffrey's life as a landed knight and build a little keep for him and whatever, we could do that too. Whatever you guys want.
I was going to say, fast forward 9 months or so when Sir Geoffrey.
Yeah, you know, little half preggle, little one, you know.
Yeah. So with all of that, we will be back in 2 weeks' time, and we thank you for joining us. If you are watching this for the first time, hanging out with us, we would encourage you to join our Discord server so you can come hang out with us in between our streams and join in the opportunities that we offer to play in games with us. If you are enjoying listening to this as a podcast, we would encourage you to check out the Patreon and support that so you can get the early access to the episodes when they drop before they hit Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that. All right, I think with that, we're going to call it a day and say goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
Tons of fun, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.